This is a reaction, I guess, to Opeth Damnation, but I'm going to drive around and I'm going to talk about a whole bunch of shit. So that's the plan for this one. Hopefully I'll complete by the time this album is about done. But I got a lot to talk about because a lot is going on in the world currently. So the time frame that you're getting this has already happened for sure. Oh, I gotta wear a damn fucking seatbelt in this car. Sorry. Even driving around these back roads. But I'm just getting launched out here. I have heard this album before. And I've been working my way through the Opeth stuff, but so when I last left off, I was going around Boulder and doing that kind of stuff. And that was a good time. And where did I end up going? Back home. And I messaged Jessica Rabbit. And I said, I need your opinion, because we just hung out the second time. She likes metal, so I decided to just go ahead and put her to the fucking test. Oh man, poor girl. And I go, I need your opinion on one metal album. I had just listened to Still Life. I was just getting started on Blackwater Park, and I went, yup, I remember this stuff. It's been a little bit, but yup. This pretty much hits on all fucking cylinders. And so I go, I need your opinion on one album. And I'd like to talk to her about Still Life or whatever, and how that like concept album is like really closely related to one of my screenplays. But I basically just want to be like, have you heard of Opeth? I just wanted to know that. Have you girl who likes metal, have you heard of Opeth? So she says, no, I don't know that. And I told her, don't listen to it until November. She said, why? I said, because it's a November vibe. There's a song called Dirge for November. It's a November vibe. Like, but that's such a... Because we just hung out and talked a little bit about metal, but did not go very in depth. And so I decided to do this little thing. Because right now, Opeth is just popping up to me left and right. So, and his cleans are, then this is like the first all clean album, right? I don't think there's any harsh singing on this album, from what I remember. They said that they divided it. So I just listened to the previous one, which was Deliverance, which is really funny because I like don't even consider that album, because when I hear the word Deliverance, I go Corrosion of Conformity. But I know that these are the two albums where they decided to try and split the two elements further apart. And to me, they're like, yeah, but you just did Blackwater Park and you're just about to do Ghost Reveries. So even though this is like prime era, these ones are like not considered to be peak, in my opinion. And I think other people too, but I'm definitely down for some more just straight cleans, Michael Akerfeld, before they went really, really, really progressive. It's such an interesting band. And so I decided to throw that out to Jessica Rabbit. And today she just texted me back, and I'm just driving out to the river today. I'll let you know what she said, and I'll continue that story. Or I'll just try and remember it from here. She said, what did she say? She just said it. She said, hey, I went against your recommendation, and I listened to that album. And she said, I like it, but I need to be in a certain mood. And so I'm going to respond to her, yeah, a November mood, like I said. I told you. It's the fucking dead heat of fucking late August right now. Like, I'm listening to it to try and cool off. And Michael Akerfeld is going, like, but so I gotta be to her like, yeah, I get it. His cleans to me and poetry are peak though. Like that's where I'm at with Opeth. The growls I could take or leave, but they're prime shit. I don't know about poetically. I'd have to go read all of the lyrics to his shit, but let's just say I don't really have time to do that. I like to just have it on while I'm driving or talking or whatever, so. I will do lyrical dives, but that's when I'm really looking for something specifically. So I'm gonna do the full Still Life album, his lyrical dive, but beyond that, I'm a little preoccupied. But because what's going on today, and that's really the primary thing that I'm gonna be talking about, and I'm getting to it kind of late, but here you go, time and place. Literally what just happened is in the time of this discussion is that Trump stepped off a plane, Putin stepped off a plane in a coordinated, they've obviously flown in before and got the lay of the land and have met before this. This is the first morsel that you get as the public eye, and it's they both walk off the planes. He didn't just get off the plane. There's no fucking way. I'd be surprised if their planes landed at the same time. I'd be very surprised. But I don't know. I haven't been tracking the flight logs or whatever. I'm not that intense about it, but I know I have a good idea for how some of these, like a day plan for something like this would go. So it's very likely that they have already met and then said, okay, well now your Secret Service is here, you're over here, we're over here, we're gonna do this, okay, get in the plane, and then we'll roll the cameras and then we'll say, all right, Trump starts his way down the walkway, you start your way down the walkway, try not to trip or whatever. Sheriff waved at him. I waved at the sheriff. No response. Okay, so then what happens after that? They shake hands, and then guess what? The thing isn't supposed to happen until 5 p.m. my time, from what I understand. Maybe it's happening sooner than that, maybe I'll catch it a little later, but right now I'm in that middle space where I know I'm basically imagining what they're doing now is they're going into a room and they're having a discussion. And what they're having a discussion about is it's like a debate. They have their opening statements, and that'll be interesting to see how much is delivered in that opening statement in Russian. I imagine the entire meeting is in English. But there might be some moments. But there's definitely advisors on both sides. There's cameras all over. Like, this stuff is like, this is recorded, but this is not given to the public, this first initial part. Because this is like, listen, we've done a bit of correspondence, but now it's time to be like, these are the points that we want to address in this meeting. And then after they both get their ideas out about that, then they're also probably going to go into a second round, which is going to be basically, we are going to discuss these things in the public eye once the cameras are rolling live. We are willing to discuss these things. And then the next side will come back with, we are willing to discuss these things. And then they hammer out which things they actually want to put forward in the meeting, in the live portions. And then after that takes place, which will be on camera for, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half, we'll see. It's gonna be really interesting. But that's to come. Right now, they're currently in discussions in Alaska. And I have some thoughts about this and how I would do it if I was in that position, how it would go down if it were me. Just saying, because it might be an interesting exercise for me politically, because I have my own ideas about this kind of thing. Oh, this album does kick ass though. They do so many interesting things. Oh God, it's so good. Because they're at a joint Air Force, and I imagine maybe there's Navy up there too. I don't know. I'm sure there is a little bit. Coast Guard. I don't know who the primary, I mean, there's Army and Air Force for sure, but you might have all 4 branches up there. Why would you not? It's like strategically. But there's different bases in Alaska. They're all over the place. But where I would have the meeting, because how I see this thing going down is I'm clued in on it, because these are one of the things that are actually interesting to me politically. Like the posturing and the discussions, but these are, you're talking major happenings coming together at a major point of interest, because you have conflict all over on the other side of the world. And this meeting could determine whether or not you will have, here, I'll straight up talk about it geopolitically. You have an Eastern Front. If a Western Front were to develop, it would develop along the Pacific Ocean. And it would be a combination of Russia and China. And America would be buttressing. Potentially. I don't know. That's a way you could potentially view that. Forming. So this is one of those times where it's like, how much is each side willing to allow this to attempt to formulate in that sort of a mode? So that's why this is an interesting coming together of major political figures. So if your eyes aren't on this, or they weren't, I don't know what to tell you. But this is a retrospective, because I'm not doing this live. You know why? Because fuck you. I got my own shit going on. This is for me. We go back on this and be like, that guy's way off base. Good. Guess what? I was wrong then. That happens all the time. That's fine. I like when they really try and fucking throw me for a loop, though. So I'm not even gonna say like what I think is going to happen from this, because I'll wait and see what they say, like verbally first. What they say in the live version, and then what happens from the fallout from that. But what you have is, this is an Idaho plate. What you have is this meeting coming together, and it's taking place in Alaska. And I would say, for me personally, what that means is strategically, that sounds like that's an American advantage. But here's what I will also say. I would say that this is the exact type of placement that makes Russia have the esoteric advantage. Because they get to come across and say, we are vulnerable enough to send our head of state into your territory. It's also kind of could be construed as an aggressive power play move. It's like, no, let's do it in your spot. So there's a lot of good shit going on. Oh, there's a big old chunk bro with his shirt off, hanging out with his dog. Yeah, just having a good time. I think he's drinking. Is he taking a picture? Looks like he's taking a picture with fucking me in the background. Or this car in the background. But he's doing it to his dog. This guy looks like a fucking cool character, actually. Interesting guy. Cool. Maybe I'll go talk to him after this. I won't put him on camera or on audio or whatever, but... So it's a power play. So what would I do if I was holding this meeting? Is I would go... I mean, you could pull some of this shit or whatever. Be like, yeah, let's go to... Well, because there's no... I I mean, there's a base, but the Russian like alternative is way different. It's way different on that side of the Pacific, of the strait. So, like, let me even pull up my map because I know exactly where I would go because I've been writing about this in one of my screenplays. It was an idea that fell off and didn't even it made it into the post narrative. It made it into the second film even of this, where I'm like, if I took this and made a second one, this is a potential story arc. And it basically belongs in a meeting on an island that's right between, it's the Bering Sea, so it's the Bering Strait. I'm going to butcher these names, especially the Russian one. I'm going to butcher the Russian one. I'm going to get the English one good. And I don't know whether or not it'll be a proper Greek pronunciation of a Greek name. So that's interesting to me. But where I would meet is in the island, and this is where a scene takes place. And it has a native name too. So apparently the name of the town, I thought this bigger island was the name of it, I thought that's the name of that island. In the Bering Strait, right between the two, there's an island. And it's small. And to the right is America, and that's the Cape Prince of Wales. Ooh, that looks like that's almost an island. But it's like, maybe it's coming up, I don't know. And then the Russian side is Mis Dezhneva. That's my best attempt at Russian. It's like English script, and I can't read Russian letters very well. So, but the island in between, there's basically two of them. And the one to the right is apparently it's big and little. And the city of the same name is on the little island. It's big and little, Diomed, or Diomede, something like that in the Greek, but it's named after the Greek warrior from the Iliad. And he's basically like, on the Greek side, after Achilles, he's the greatest warrior. And his power is so great that he even harms both war and beauty in his fit of rage against the Trojans. So that's saying something. Because war and beauty, if my recollection is confirmed, were fighting primarily on the side of the Trojans. I'm talking about, of course, in the Greek, it would be Ares and Aphrodite. And Aphrodite would be fighting for the Trojans specifically because her son is basically the second best warrior of the Trojans. Very important character, especially if you know anything about Virgil like I do. And like Dante Alighieri knows all about Virgil. The Christian Dante Alighieri. But Diomed, or Diomede, however you say it in the Greek, you let me know, Greeks. I do my own thing kind of with that sort of stuff, but so Mars and Venus, they get hurt. They get hurt by the power of the Greeks. It's basically saying from a storyteller perspective, like the Greeks' fury in their ranks to win this war was such that one of the greatest warriors even changed the nature of war and beauty itself by giving them scars. We could even say that they went to war with war itself and changed it, changed that thing that is immortal. So that's giving the Greeks some fucking levity by talking about this character in that way. And Homer was next level about this stuff. So that's the island I would have the meeting on. Forget these military bases and flying in. I'd go, you fly to your base and then you hop in a car. And then while you're in that car, you drive to a shoreline. And Mr. Putin, you get in a raft and you float to Big Diomed. And I get in a raft and I float to Big Diomed. And then once we get on that island, we start a fire and then dance around it under the moonlight and camp out. And then the following morning, we take our rafts, which have been brought for us, around to the other side, and then we each individually paddle out without anyone else. And you and I meet boat to boat. And then from that meeting, we'll decide which boat wants to go this direction or that direction. That's how I would set it up. And then I would do one evening discussion with cameras on Little Diomed, and I would go the other direction and do one session of meetings on camera and on Big Diomed. I think they're both technically American territory, though, by the way. So, but I'd be like, symbolically, this is the meeting point. Like geographically, I'm not saying that Russia owns Big Diomed. I'm going, we'll give it to you on your own for the day. Trust us. And then I'd bug it with all sorts of microphones. Dude, it never ends. You can't be two distinct separate entities and ever have like the minuteness of manipulation will always seep in these things. It's inevitable. So it's best to try and be open about them. But for me, I'd smoke a peace pipe, man. This is a peace pipe talk. This is Eastern Front's bad enough. You want to open up a dual can of worms? Let's try and do everything we can to diminish that. But here's what I would say, because I want to talk about this movie that I watched last night. It was called White Reindeer. It is a movie from 1952. Because I've been looking for scenes to help work out how I want to approach this drug-induced state of heightened consciousness with a Native American in a jail cell scene. Dude, talk about throwing everything that you possibly can at a guy in one scene and seeing how he takes it. That's what they did when they gave me this scene. But there's a movie called In the Lair of the White Worm, American film. And I've been meaning to get around to watch it. And I went online to illegally watch it. Because I ain't going to buy that shit. And there's a website, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. But I went and I did that search. And I got all manner of insane pop-ups, even outside of my blocker thing or whatever. So if the government knows I'm watching a movie, hey, guess what? I'm watching that movie eventually. And I ain't paying for it. But I'm trying to make some American content for you to use. So, you let me know when you're ready to pay me for this kind of activity. Because right now I'm just getting food and gas. and doing my own thing. Delivery driver, frequent stops, maintain distance. Number 7 on that white van that just pulled up here. Yeah, if you're government, that's if you're like military, National Guard or whatever in the States, that's for sure what you would be driving in. Easy. Don't worry, I'm recording myself. You don't need to hear what I'm saying. Like, you don't need military trucks. You just drive that kind of stuff around. Don't worry. Don't worry, this one's getting posted. You just get the first version of it. So 2:45 is what time it is right now. This one's called Hope Leaves. Ooh, sing it, Michael Lagerfeld. Ooh, goddamn. This album's so good. Oh, Hope Leaves, that's a tough one, though. That's a tough title to go into. So I'm preparing this evening to watch whatever they decide to broadcast when I get back. But I've also been fasting. I haven't eaten anything all day. Except for like some bits of the insides of a fucking choke cherry. I've had 3 cups of tea though. First one was dandelion. And then the second one was a green. And then the third one was an interesting green because it wasn't green until later. It first started out as a bunch of fucking choke cherries with the pits taken out of them. So, and then I put the pits in water and then read about how the pits contain cyanide. And then I let the water seep for a little while, and then I drank the cyanide water. It's been an hour and a half. I ain't dead yet though. But yeah, I needed to fast because my insides are kind of like hurting a little bit. So. Because I was drinking that tea that was like fucking H. pylori tea from Poland. Amazingly, I didn't even realize it was from Poland until it had shipped. I went, why is this taking so fucking long? I went, oh, it's fucking from Poland. And I bought 3 bags of that shit, and I've basically been through almost a bag. And I gotta say, stomach issues that I've been having haven't resolved. But I kind of stopped taking it. And I think it's suppressed, but it didn't kill him. If that's what I had, I don't know. I haven't been checked out. But then, like, I had this thing where it feels like my spleen kind of hurts. And then I did some, like, key exercises where I, like, pushed it out and, like, did this, you push into your spleen and, like, you give it friction to reduce the dampness. It's like a Chinese detoxification kind of concept. And because this has actually been a damp summer, but I eat a lot of dairy and stuff and a lot of meat, so I think that's what is doing it to me. But then if it's stomach issues, I might have a bit of a sort of a parasitic difficulty, gastrointestinal tract wise. So decided to go ahead and give my digestive tract a rest by only giving it tea today. And then I'm gonna go get some American ass food that's probably not great for me, and I'm gonna nibble at it until I go, oh, I was really hungry, wasn't I? And it's just gonna be fucking fried chicken, motherfucker. It's gonna be KFC fried chicken. Just that. I know I've heard the breading and the oil that they use is not good for you. So we'll see. If whatever I got in my digestive tract enjoys that, then it might be a turn for the worse. And I might have to recage my diet even more than that. But we're going to see. But I'm kind of cutting out the dairy. I'm using an oat creamer. That's the food. If there's any bit of food, it's like maybe a tablespoon. You might even say 2 tablespoons today of oat creamer. And its sweetener, I believe, is monk fruit. So if that is bad, then I might have to cut that out even too for these fasts. But right now, this is the first time I've fasted in a while. It's 2:50. My stomach hasn't really rumbled. I think it actually appreciates the bit of a break. There was one time where it went, and it kind of like even hurt a little bit. I went, oh, hi. But that's the only one, and now I'm drinking water. And I was thinking about doing some singing, but I'm just reacting to this album. Okay, and before we're done, the last thing I'm going to do is talk about White Reindeer, the film. And I'm going to look up how to say it. I'm going to try and say it in Finnish. We got 2 more songs, man. This is To Rid the Disease. And then ending credits, and then Weakness. Okay. So I'll finish that out. I'll go maybe do a loop around this body of water here, which is very short. And then I'll maybe even talk to this guy and say hi to his dog. And then I'll be like, yo, I gotta go catch the whatever they're gonna broadcast for the Trump-Putin thing. And I'll be like, I gotta get out of here, bro. Have a good one. I'm just interested in how that's gonna shake out. Just that in particular. I try not to follow too much, but that one's like, what to think about this. Tell you, finances have dipped significantly in the last 2 days, though. That's definitely a thing. Big dippage. Might be a good time to invest, I would say. Unfortunately, I'm spread so thin, I can't put a single dime into anything right now because I can't afford to lose it. That's literally where I'm at right now. I could move shit around, but I think it's all gonna go up. I don't have my own portfolio fucking micro-analyzed yet. I'll tell you that much. Mercury has not given me the sandals yet. I'll just say that. So let me find White Reindeer. It was so good. It was so good. 1952, black and white film. It's called Valkoinen peura. And I did not say that even close to how a Finn would. I said it exactly how an American would. No, there's different ways that we would say it. Like an infinite number of ways that we would get it wrong. Because the V might be F. Because I don't know what is... Because if I do a thing, I bet I can do it almost right away. English to Finnish. Let's hear them. I love the Finnish language. I love Finland. White Reindeer. Oh, it even says it's different on this. It says Valkoista poroa.
Valkoista poroa.
Valkoista poroa. If I was a girl, that's how I would say it. Valkoista poroa. If I was a guy, it'd be Valkoista poroa. Valkoista poroa. If I was singing in a metal band, it would be Valkoista poroa. I'm still looking for a Finnish guitarist. Okay, that turned off my music though. Just that. Oh, that was the end of the song. The ending credits. Okay, I gotta get through talking about White Reindeer fast here. Because it's, the IMDb has a 6.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 100%. I give this movie a 100% for my current viewing. Here's the overview. A shaman turns a newlywed woman into a vampiric white reindeer after she seeks his help. Black and white. The shots are insane. They wrangle and wrestle up reindeer. They herd a giant herd of reindeer. And there's so many good shots. And you're gonna see, you're just gonna be looking at it this whole time. And this is probably gonna be called the White Reindeer. If I don't do that, then I'm stupid. But you're gonna see that image of the White Reindeer for this episode that I took of the most iconic shot of that film. And it's the girl. Because she gets married to a guy and they have the wedding inside. They wrangle up some reindeer. The first scene is crazy and I can't even remember it. But it's over. A song is playing the whole time, and I have to go back and watch it again because I can't remember. But even in the midst of the film, I was like, what was the opening scene? What was the esoteric meaning of the opening scene? Because it's a folk tale about Lapland. And if you know anything about Lapland, Lapland is currently in Russia. But it has not always been so. And parts of it have changed over the years. The last time, most significantly, was at the end of what they call the Winter War, what we refer to as World War II. No, I'm sorry, they call it the Continuation War. They call it the Winter War first, and then they call it the Continuation War. They don't call it World War I and World War II. They go, we know about the world, but for Russia, this is ongoing. And Finland is in the European Union, so because of World War II, because of both of those. But so Lapland is one of those territories that's was largely, it's very mythologically important to Finns, less so to Russians. So, because they're Slavic, there's a differentiation there between the two. Finns are Finno-Ugric, and Russians are Slavic primarily, but there's overlap there. So it's an interesting, place. Much like Ukraine, very much like Ukraine, much like all of those states that border Russia, and how, in ways, they are like, mixes of the two a bit as you get to that dividing line. So, and Russia views itself as very important in the world with that kind of stuff, as they should. So that's talking about one front all the way down from Finland to Ukraine. You got Belarus, you got the Baltic states, Estonia. But in this place, you might even say there's a nation of Lapland, and they no longer exist. But there's no nation of Lapland. There's no Lapland-ish. There's no Lappish. And if there is, And there probably is, and they probably speak their own language, but it's heavily influential into Finnish culture, which is also influenced by Swedish culture. And we're listening to a Swedish band right now, the black and white cover, and I took a still. I paused the movie and I went, what? I can't believe my eyes. And so the rough general story is she kills. But first she gets married. She gets married, and then she seeks the shaman, and the shaman says, he calls her a witch, first of all, before he does a ritual with her. And he says, you are a witch. And he's like, what you must do, if you want all of the men, all of the reindeer wranglers to be unable to prevent themselves from attempting to harness your beauty for themselves. She goes, that's what you want? And she says, yes. And she's married. She just got married. And he calls her a witch. And he says, what you have to do, they do a ritual, is what you have to do is you have to murder the first living thing that you see. And the first living thing that she sees, it's vague in my mind and I can't recall it, but it's either her husband, or her husband has a calf and it's a albino reindeer calf. This is the Finnish Bambi. In the film, I don't know which one they say first, and I don't know in the lore which one is said that she sees first. But I know I just said her husband because the reindeer is being lassoed. It is in lasso. It is kept there. I think it might, or even just be a pet. I'm not even sure. They have ownership of it though. And I gotta say, when you watch this film, you realize that those things don't necessarily want to be wrangled. But they do it, and then they take them down like a bull. This is like you know how the Romans have the bull, the Greeks have the bull. Europe is named after a story having to do with the primary god turning into a bull and raping a woman named Europa. Like what to the European people is the bull, the Finnish people is the Lappish people is the reindeer. They might have even milked the damn things. When I went there, I got sliced reindeer at the grocery store. So they still have them. But now there's cars and stuff, so it's not the same place. So what does she do? She says, I'll take the white reindeer out at night, the calf, Bambi, and she takes it to this fucking place where there's all sorts of dead reindeer, couple skeletons, but it's mostly just sheds that they use for this because it's the same thing. And they're on the top of the snow, and there's a structure of stone, and on the top of it is the head of a fucking dead reindeer with its white, decayed, that's window pane, or that's Damnation, by the way, right there. Well, I'm talking about this movie. That's the album Damnation. I dig it. I'll even put on the next one, Ghost Reveries, while I finish up about this. And then I'm going to do that one on my own primarily because it's so good. I'm probably just going to redo Ghost of Perdition because this song fucking kicks ass. I might even try singing this one. The cleans, at least. Okay, so what does she do? She takes the calf up to the stone monument, to the stone god, they call it. in the film. I don't know about the lore, and I don't know how to say it in Finnish at all, but I'm sure it'd be interesting. And she takes the calf out. She kills it. I don't know what a young reindeer is called either. I don't know if it is a calf. They're deer, though, essentially. Elk, deer, they're same family, so it's got to be a calf, right? But it's cow moose, I think. So that's interesting. Is it cow reindeer or is it calf? I don't even know. It's got to be the same thing. But it's not bovine family. Anyhow, I'm getting off. I'm getting into animal racism now. Okay, so she kills it with a knife, with a dagger. Bleeds it out. Music's going crazy, but I'd like to take this movie and change the score. And I might even be like, I'll take a fucking little bit of a scene and be like parts of fucking Ghost of Perdition or something like that in the background. And she stands up and she goes, I did it. And she holds the dagger up. And I got the literal last frame of her with the dagger up. And I went, pause on my OBS, moved it into DaVinci, pause, grab still, and I went, if somebody hasn't used that as a metal album, I want to. Or I'll put it on this YouTube video. But bro, it's crazy in black and white. Oh. That, and then guess what? She's cursed. And she ends up as a full-grown, with antlers, white reindeer. And every time, all the Lappish, all the Laplanders see her, see the white reindeer, they go, I gotta get it. And they try and chase it. One of them tries to shoot a gun at it. And the gun blows up in his face. And a couple of them attempt to wrestle and wrangle it. And then when they do, because you know, they're chasing them down on skis. And every time the reindeer, they go down into a valley. Because they get up high, and then they see one, and then they chase, and then it gets tired running. It's fucking punching holes into the snow, and it gets tired. And these Laplanders, Finns, they get on skis, and they go, now I gotcha, because now they got the speed, and they're not using any energy. And they go, shh. And they're fed on fucking the meat of this animal and probably the milk. Maybe. And this is where all your metal comes from in the world, primarily, by the way. By her side. Dedicated hunter waits to pull us under. Oh, yeah, I need to learn how to sing this one, maybe. It's so long, 15 minutes. I could work on my growls, I guess. I don't really know about that. I'll probably try and do those parts as clean as I could, too. Ugh, that's a chore, though. So what happens when the ones get the high ground on her? Yeah, straight up, Star Wars, I have the high ground. They slide down, they get dead tired, they lasso them, they wrestle it, you twist the head with the fucking things, with the antlers, bring them down, twist their whole body around. Boom, they're on the ground, they ain't going anywhere. You got to control those things. And what happens when they get the white one? boom, she turns in to the beautiful woman that she was. And this actress is beautiful. And she's got dark hair. In that area, that's interesting. And then what happens in the film? The hunter, the wrangler, the cowboy, he screams. Shot from far away, the landscape, cold. Snow so high, and you just see the tips of trees. Crazy valleys, gigantic stretches of forest where you can only make out the top, and you're on it. Dude, in black and white. Is that a scream of pain as they die? Or a scream of a mixture of pleasure and pain at the same time, like I like to talk about all the time? I don't know, but it sounds good to some metal. Released like you'd never had, so much so that you'd die. To the witch, the White Reindeer witch. Oh, we got this, where I'm parked at, there's this osprey nest that you can see perfectly. And they're just chilling. They just had young. I come out here all the time. They just had young and they're feeding them, and now the young are flying already. And these are big birds. They're like hawk size. Small eagle size. The local baseball team in Butte used to be called the Osprey. I don't know if they exist anymore. I don't think they do. They're owned by somebody or whatever for like farmer shit. I don't think they ever produced anybody good though. So that shit gets like, yo, if you're not gonna produce, we're not gonna give you money. That's how that shit works. That's how my shit works. I haven't produced anything good, so they're not gonna give me any money. Sorry, I'm working on it. When it's good though, you're gonna get some of the best, I think. We'll see. I got some good ideas, I think. I need filter mechanisms though. I need people filter mechanisms. And usually I scare people away too fast. That's usually how it goes. There's like 2 minutes left of the song. Oh, it's not 14 minutes. It's only like, it's only 10:30, 10:29. That's not bad. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh. Oh, and then they do these two together. I don't even know which one of these two guys I would do. I would just go be a third. I'll do it when I can. I can't go that high. I can't do it. I crack up there. I haven't worked on my highs much lately. I crack up there way too easily. God, this album's fucking so good. I can't wait to listen to this whole thing. Who knows what's going to happen after that, but... So you got Window Pane. I always call it Window Pane because that's the first song on it, but that's what I think. I don't think of it as a damnation. Like, you listen to this album, it's damnation. I don't know. I don't know the lyrics. But, so eventually what happens in the end is his husband kills her. That's it. We're done listening. Banging the Hounds is so good. Banging the Hounds is insane. But so he kills. The whole town sharpens up some steel, and they say you can't wrangle it, you can't shoot it. The only way to kill it is cold steel. And he's hammering it in his house while she's there. And he's like, like, I haven't seen you in forever. Like, you're so cold to me. I want to look at my wife. And she's like, you see the witch when you look at me. You see the white reindeer. And he's like, no, I see my wife. I love my wife. But he and the town gets the view of the white reindeer the next day or whatever. And she's out there. And she's like, I think it seems like she's basically like, end me. So she basically goes into the town, so they all see her. She'll be like, whoever gets me, gets me. And who gets her? Same person who got her before, her husband. And her husband, not knowing that it's her, throws his spear with cold iron, and kills the white reindeer. And he goes up to it. I think maybe even she lets out a scream. Like, as soon as he hits her, she's the one who screams. Something like that. I'm not sure if that happens. But then she's stretched out on the snow, dead. And he runs up to her. And that's the end of the movie. And then it just goes boom. S, which stands for Suomi, Filmi. White Reindeer. How did they say it? I'll try it. I think it's not peura, it's peura. Valkoinen peura, I think. Valkoinen peura. That word is strange to me. P-E-U-R-A, peura. I guess it means pure. Is that the word for white? The pure reindeer, the pure white reindeer, black-haired witch. What a story, what a movie. If you want to watch that, do it. I got to remember to put that image up, but that's going to be it. I'm going to go buy Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I'm going to go watch the Trump-Putin summit. And then later today, I'm probably going to listen to Ghost Reveries. I need to respond to Jessica Rabbit. And I need to keep an eye out for some messages from some people that I messaged about being roommates. First, I'm going to take a loop around this lake. Then I'm going to go buy food. And then I basically made it 24 hours. It's probably going to be more like 23 by the time I eat. Because as soon as I get it home, I'm going to tune on whatever's live. And I'm going to listen to the analysts talking about blah, 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 blah before they get ready to walk into the room or whatever. I might even be late. It doesn't matter. I'll catch it where I catch it and get the catch up if I miss anything that they say. Oh, one interesting thing that did happen when they walked out and shook hands was they had the big stage and they shook hands and they got the shots all ready to go and they shook hands in front of some fighter jets. And you could see Air Force One in the background, but they didn't show Putin's plane. And they shook hands, and I'm watching the American feed, so, you got mine. I'm sure they have theirs, though. Because for sure they fucking flew some Russian jets in. So I'd be interested to see what kind of hardware they brought in for this kind of thing. But then they shook hands, and they kind of walked off, and then they stood on a stage that said, Alaska 2025 in big old letters. And Putin's suit is darker. Trump's suit is lighter, brighter red tie. So I can't wait to see what they get up to and talk about. What they've already talked about, I guess you might even say, in this last couple hours. Because I thought it said it was going to be 5, but anyways, it doesn't matter. Right now, I'm actually getting hungry. I'm trying to push it off, though, because I still want to hold on to this fast until I eat again. And I'm probably going to fast on Sunday, too, but not today. Or not tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be just a regular day of food. But yeah, my stomach been annoying as fuck. So, yeah, that's this one. I hope you enjoyed Opeth, White Reindeer, and Alaska 2025 Summit discussion all in one. Big yikes for me, dog. That's going to be a real strange video. Maybe I'll put that one out like now. Nah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'll catch you on the other side. Next, I'll be doing probably Ghost Reveries. Probably a post-Ghost Reveries discussion, whatever I'm up to tomorrow. We'll see. That's enough for me today. I got to go take the rest of the day for myself and my own projects. So take care. We'll see you. Be talking to you on the next one. Adios. Nice car. Mercedes. Old, though, and blue. All right, bye.